Hello everyone, today's video I think is going to be one of the hardest videos that I do on my channel every year. I have done one or two of them in the past, and this is ranking every single palette that I have tried in that given year. So I have pulled out every single palette that I have tried in 2025, which there's a lot of them. I haven't counted yet, but there is a lot of palettes, and there has been a few palettes that I have decluttered from my collection, and I am not going to be ranking those because if they're not in my collection anymore, then obviously they don't need to be ranked. But I did have the Unearthly Strawberry Milkshake palette. That one I sold to someone on Instagram, but that one was in my possession for a couple months. I had the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette, also only had it in my possession for a couple months. Ace Beauté Oceanic palette, I felt it deserved a better home elsewhere, and that home is very much enjoying it. And then I also got rid of my Nomad Fairy Tale Europe palette, also was given to a friend over on Instagram. She is also loving it much more than I have. I just counted and I have a total of 30 palettes that I have just here to show you guys. I am not counting the 3 that I've decluttered. So acquiring like 30 some palettes in a course of a year seems ridiculous to me. And that is why in 2026, it is one of my goals to really only bring in 10 palettes in a given year. Last year, I think I had 20 or 25 palettes. This year, I have 30 to show you guys, which is crazy to me. But we're just going to rank them, and this ranking can change day to day, honestly. I did do a Nomad ranking a couple months ago, and you're going to see a lot of my Nomad palettes I have gotten in 2025. The order of them is different than what I have ranked them a couple months ago. So this could change tomorrow, it could change day to day, week to week, month to month. This is just a fun little ranking, also going through the palettes that I have gotten in 2025, where they rank within my collection, and, you know, my thoughts and feelings of them all. We're going to start with bottom 5 first. So I guess number 30, I'm not going to keep track of all these. So my bottom of the barrel palette that is here, I'm gonna give it to the Magic palette by Juvia's Place. I got this from someone on Instagram. The only reason why I asked for it is because I wanted to like relive a time in makeup history where I was not able to afford or order online or whatever these sorts of palettes. This palette, it's nice. It is. It is on my chopping block. So it is going to be at the bottom of this list. The shimmers are nice. I don't feel like the mattes are adequate for the shimmers' needs and my preferences. So this is just a bottom of the barrel palette. Formula is fine, but these shimmers are pretty like standard metallic, so they're not special like the ones above it. This one is only ranking so low because of how small it is. So this is the mini enchanted icon from Makeup Revolution. If you're new here, anything a duo or larger gets placed in as an eyeshadow palette. So yes, this is a little quad, and I got this for Christmas, so I've only used it one time, but it already is going to be at the bottom of the barrel because of how small it is, not based off quality. These are amazing eyeshadows. Another one that is at the bottom solely because of the size. So this is the Natasha Denona Mini Rose palette. This is such a favorite of mine, but if I had to pick this and something middle of the road, which would I rather keep? And at the end of the day, I've had these shades in other palettes. I love this palette though, and I am one for the pinky shades. But this one does get lower in the ranking, unfortunately, because of the size. And I can't really travel with this like I wish I could because it doesn't have a mirror. But overall, I very much love this palette, and it is a gem in my collection. This one is low because it is on my chopping block, but it is also one of those palettes that doesn't really impress me all that much. The reason why it is below the one in front of it is because this is currently on my chopping block because of the mattes. It is only by a thread though, because the shimmers in here are gorgeous. So this is the Adept Heather Austin eyeshadow palette. this is what it currently looks like, or this is what it looks like all the time. I don't want to get rid of it because of the shimmers, and I've already talked about my thoughts and feelings on this palette in my chopping block video, which I'll leave linked down below. But really it's here because it's on the chopping block. This one had to be my bottom 5, but it is also above the Heather Austin palette because that this is not on the chopping block, but also because I just much prefer the mattes in this palette. So this is the Ensley Rain Flower Moon palette. I received this from a friend, and that friend did take out half of the shimmers. So I really only have 2/3 of this palette. Mattes in here much better perform than the Adept ones. Some of these are flaky, and I'm not a big fan of the flaky ones. I like the much more of a smoother texture. This is on the bottom 5 palette because it isn't all that great in my collection. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not a full palette, so it automatically is downgraded in my brain. But this is not all that special to me, and I could have easily decluttered this earlier this year, or I could have easily not gotten it in my collection at all. Like, this is not a ride or die palette. These next couple palettes is purely because of size. So next palette is going to be the ColourPop Going Coconuts. This thing, yes, it is bottom of the barrel in terms of my ranking. It is on the bottom of my ranking. Except this is such a good utilitarian sort of palette. I have taken it with me on vacation. It does have a nice mirror, and it does have very useful to me shades. I really enjoy the tones in here. I can pair this with any other palette that needs a little assistance in terms of blending out shades. I really do like the shimmer, the 2 shimmers here. I could give or take on this 3rd one. I don't know, it's not all that great to me. But I really am more focused on the mattes and then these 2 shimmer shades that I really do like. This one is above it because it is still neutral, so it's gonna be on the bottom here. And then I do prefer more colorful eyeshadow or a little bit more punch into my eyeshadow. So this one is in a step above because the shimmers are just so much better. So this is the M81 Golden Ratio palette. It is down here because of its neutrality, and also I do not like a yellow gold. So this is a very, very yellow gold, and I don't like that type of color. I do love these 3 shimmers with my entire heart, and this palette was made extremely well. I'm so proud of Megan for making this palette, and one of my favorite shades in my collection is this 1.618 shade. It is beautiful. So this is a palette that I will never declutter. It is such a gem in my collection. It's so useful in my collection. It is above ColourPop because of shimmer formula is just so much more superior, but it is at the bottom because of size and because of neutrality. This one gets a step above because it has some fun colors. So this is the Unearthly Lore palette. I got this from Mercari earlier this year. This is the Color Story. The reason why I got this is because I really wanted to try another Unearthly palette. And you're going to see the other Unearthly palette that I have is much higher in the ranking. And I really need to get it going because I can't be here all day. This is here. Formula is really nice. I really like the shades. I wish there was something that I could pair with this blue color a little bit more easier. There's 2 oranges, not much of a difference between the oranges. I really do enjoy this palette. I think it's really nice, and it is here because it actually has some color to it. Makes me sad that this one is a little bit more towards the bottom, but at the end of the day, it's just a lot. It is a lot. It's a very big palette. So this is the Beauty Bay Brights palette 2.0. It's 2.0. This one is here because of simply how big it is. It is a little ridiculous. You have a full range of colors in here. This has a very good spot in my collection. If I need a color, I more than likely can find it in here. This is a nice range of shades from light to dark. Have a matte, you have a matte black, you have a matte white. My only concern with this palette is the shimmer quality is not amazing. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but they're not very, I don't know, special in my opinion. That is why it is in this spot. Shimmer formula is a little lackluster. It's nothing all that special. So this one would be what, 25? What one would this be? Number 20, I think, because we did the first 5. This is the second 5. So at the end of the second 5 is the Gourmand Girls Haunted palette. Packaging, I've said before how boring it is, but I like this size palette much better than like that Beauty Bay palette, for example. These shimmers are so much better than the one in the Beauty Bay palette. Color story wise, like this is a very nice color story, but it is not something that I like must reach for. There are some beautiful shimmers. Like I love this shimmer here, this pink shimmer here. Like it has some beautiful shimmers in it. I really do enjoy this palette, but it is going to have to be more at the bottom. I don't naturally reach for this like I wish I did. And it is better quality and like a fun color story that gets me creative. I brought out the next 5. This palette, I debated if I wanted to put this in this spot or the Haunted in this spot, but I ended up going with this one only because I love pink eyeshadow so much, and I just, maybe I'm kind of second guessing now. A lot of this middle of the road stuff was very, very difficult to place in a spot. So this is the Natasha Nona Love palette. I'm just keeping it here. I am. Or maybe do I swap them? You guys don't even care. This is the Love palette. The reason why it is in this spot, I love pink eyeshadow. I like this palette more for the mattes than the shimmers. A lot of the shimmers are mid to deep, so they're not like my all-time favorite. I've made some really pretty looks with this, but at the end of the day, it's a pink palette. I do love pink eyeshadow, I do. But there is other palettes in my collection that I just prefer more than this one. This one is a little step above just because I kind of prefer the color story of this one a little bit more. A lot of the shimmers I do prefer. So this is the Nomad Berlin Underground palette, and I love this much more than I was expecting to. This is a pretty muted palette, muted color story, but I feel like you can do so much with this, and it has that grungy vibe to it. It has that sultry vibe to it, where overall these shades are not dark. I mean, you can take it dark. I am not one for dark eyeshadow, but I do like a kind of smoky, sultry eye every once in a while. This will give it to me, and I really do enjoy these tones. I love the warmth, I love the greens and yellows. Like, this is such a unique palette to my collection, and I thoroughly enjoy it. A lot of these Blend Bunny palettes that I've gotten this year, they're in this middle of the road pack. My next palette here is going to be Blend Bunny Surge. I have wanted this ever since I realized this palette existed, and I finally found it. Someone decluttered it and put it up for sale. These mattes are so pretty. The shimmers, so not that great. Some of them are fine, like this one here is a fine shimmer, but I'm thinking of like these colors here. Like the ones I really want to work really well for me, like they just are not anything special. Like they don't give any sort of pack or punch. It's these ones that kind of look I don't know, putty like. These colors are something that I love to play with on my free time. I don't have a whole lot of free time. These brights are super fantastic, like they are amazing. It's just that this is lower the pack because of usability. I cannot use it as often as I wish I could, and the shimmers are not that great. I'll tell you, this whole entire video, extremely hard to make, but I knew I needed to make it sooner or later. This one isn't technically an eyeshadow palette. It's one of these lethal build your own palettes. This one was decluttered to me from somebody. It ended up being made and created by my friend Andie from Makeup in the Mundane. This palette, they did such a great job. They did. And I much prefer this color story, this palette, than the actual lethal palette that I had prior. I have made a beautiful green and purple look that I have gotten compliments on. I am a lover of pink and purple eyeshadow, so this area here is like top tier favorite. The only reason why it's not higher is because I feel like the lethal matte formula isn't my favorite. I do prefer the palettes in front of this more. The shimmers are gorgeous. I think they're really pretty. I do love, 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 love this palette though. These palettes had to go somewhere. Something had to be at the top and something had to be on the bottom. But something I prefer just slightly more than that one. Or do I want to flip-flop again? I think I want to flip-flop again. Okay, let's pretend we didn't even talk about the Lethal palette. We're going to talk about Blend Bunny Lure palette. The Lure palette. This is another palette I've wanted for a very long time. It's just that these colors are very bright. I feel very creatively challenged because they're in columns like this. I struggle to kind of mix and match these things. The shimmers in this palette is much better than the Surge, so this is obviously going to be higher up than the Surge. But if I think about it, like between these two palettes, this one is much more wearable to me, while this one is very pretty. It is. A lot of these shades are really, really nice. I think this one will go, it'll be Surge, it'll be Lure, and then it'll be my Lethal Andie palette is what I'm calling it. My next grouping of 5 is like 11 through 15, or 15 through 11, I guess. So I'm going to have another Blend Bunny palette. This one is Sugar and Grunge. Again, very much love these palettes. I think out of the 3 new Blend Bunny palettes, new to me, all 3 of them were secondhand, so they are new to me. Out of all 3 of these Blend Bunny palettes I got this year, this is my most used, or I feel like I would be able to use this a lot more. This palette just has more things up my alley, has more muted tones. I can really mix and match this palette, or I don't feel creatively limited with this palette as I do with some of the other ones. It has the pinks, it has the purples, it has a very nice neutral column here. I love green eyeshadow. These shimmers are really, really pretty. The darkest shimmer, this like grungy, greeny shade. I have done so many looks with this palette that included that grungy green shade, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm not one for dark shimmers. So out of all 3 Blend Bunny palettes, this one does deserve to be at the top of my list. I just really do like this palette, and honestly, do I want to bring it up higher? This is just very challenging because for some reason I put the next palette as my Fantasy Cosmetica Witches Familiar palette. I do really like this palette. I love the packaging. Out of Blend Bunny, Sugar and Grunge, and the Fantasy Cosmetica palette, I much prefer this packaging. It is gorgeous. I much prefer the size of palette too. I do prefer a more concise palette than something bigger like Blend Bunny. This palette has a lot of different ways I can go about this. It is slightly lower than the one above it because there is like some darker, more challenging shimmers in here. Like I'm thinking of these 3 that sometimes I struggle to use them. The reds are very challenging, but I do really enjoy the red eyeshadows. I have created some beautiful, 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 beautiful looks with this palette. Like I said, all of these, I love these so much. It is just that something has to be at the top, something has to be at the bottom. I have to find a home for these. And for some reason, I put this one in this spot. Don't ask me why, because I have no clue. The next palette here is the Nomad Fête de Provence. I have no clue. I always butcher the name. I put this here because I do prefer overall color story than the ones before it. And I can use this palette much more than I can use some of these other palettes. I love pink, peach, yellow, purples. You know, then you have some cooler tone grays you can pair with them. I've made some lovely looks with this. It is going to be slightly lower. Some of these shimmers I feel are too like mid to deep for me, for my preferences in color story, how I like things. But it is here because the bees are super cute all over the palette. I really love this color story and theming. I definitely need to bring this out again, or again soon. I have a lot of palettes, and obviously I can't use them all at the same time. And if you're wondering what I have on my eyes today, it is actually the Tarte Reflections palette, which I think was middle to the road / higher up in the road in my last year's ranking. So that's what is on today's eyes, or on my eyes today. I kind of wanted to go with my like jacket thing here. Next palette is going to be my Simply Posh Snow Angel. My last Simply Posh palette, or my other Simply Posh palette, was in my top 3 last year. This is an amazing palette. It is an amazing color story. At the end of the day, though, it is these blues and, you know, wintry shades. I feel like this is not as versatile as, let's say, my Coastal palette from Simply Posh. The matte's beautiful. The shimmer's gorgeous. I love this palette so much. But at the end of the day, something had to go somewhere. This is kind of one-noted. It is very muted color, cool toned. I like to have something with a little bit more variety, and that is why the Nomad America Route 66 is in front of it. So palette size is, I think, the same, and this color story, I can just do so much more with it. I do like more variety, and I really like warm tones. Blues and greens are so pretty in this palette. I like this palette a lot more than I was expecting to. I did get this in PR, and if I'm being fully transparent with you guys, this is the one and only palette I got in PR. I did get one palette sent to me, which we'll see very soon. One palette sent to me like via a giveaway situation. I do have a code with Nomad, and if it is still active, I hope it is. I'll leave it down below. I really should be checking the codes every once in a while. I did get in PR. Would I have purchased this on my own? No. Am I very glad to have this? Yes. I really do enjoy this palette. I've created some beautiful looks with this. You guys have asked me questions on when I've worn this palette. Like, it is such a good palette. And I honestly like it so much more than I was expecting to. These next palettes are in my top 10. Now, this one palette, I was very on the fence if I wanted this in my top 10 or my Route 66 in my top 10. Like, I was struggling to put which one in which place. And I'm looking at it, and shimmer-wise, I think I prefer the Nomad, but mattes and everything, and my personal preferences and what I prefer to wear day to day, this palette actually fits those boxes more. So my number 10 palette, which is crazy because I feel like I haven't used this as much because I did get this very, very recently, my Gourmand Girls Mocha Moment palette. I got this on Black Friday, and then I didn't open it till Christmas, so I couldn't use it until after Christmas. This is the color story. If you guys know me, I do love a warmer neutral. I love, like today, I'm wearing these burgundy sort of colors. I love purple. This palette has the burgundy purpley shades. It has these warm colors. And I do really love green, which is what is also in this palette. The only shimmer that I have had an issue with thus far is this silvery shade on the bottom, which is why I'm debating if I wanted to put this underneath Nomad Route 66, because I haven't had an issue with any of the shimmers in the Nomad palette, whereas I had issues with this shimmer. But there's like 3 gold shades, and I'm not a fan of gold. 2 of the golds look extremely similar to each other. If those are the golds, like this is not really a gold color, but these 2 are way too similar. Like, you did not need both of those. So this is where I'm like, do I put Nomad Route 66 on top of Mocha Moment? Like, this is a very difficult thing for me to do, but honestly, like, both of those golds, you did not need both of those in the same palette. Like, it felt like they didn't know what else to put in this palette. A green would have been really nice. They're not different enough for me to tell much of a difference between the 2. I wish there was like a green color in here, or something a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more purpley, because this one is a little bit, definitely a little bit more purpley. Like, it has that purple flip to it. Anyway, debating if this should actually be in the 10th spot. I really do like it, mattes anyway. The shimmers are pretty hit and miss. Now that I'm talking about it, maybe the Nomad Route 66 will be number 10, and then this is number 11. Sometimes the rankings are just very difficult. I think from here on out, I think everything should be in an appropriate order. So next palette actually is my Nomad Witch City Salem. This is the palette that I got for like during a giveaway situation I got from Project Starfish. I don't count this as PR because I had to get nominated for it by friends on Instagram, and like anybody can get nominated, anybody can win. So that was what this palette is from. I probably would have purchased this palette, you know, if I did not receive it for free. This palette has so many beautiful colors in it, and it has the burgundies and purples that I love so much. These colors are beautiful. I love the oranges, I love the greens. Like, you can make some beautiful looks with this. This is another palette where you can do multiple different things. It's just, I don't know why this next one I put on top of it. It is my Cosmic Brushes Winter Wonderland. Maybe it's because we're still in winter and I still really love the blues. I think I do prefer this over my Simply Posh Snow Angel in terms of an all blue sort of palette. I am one for blues and I am one for purples, and that is definitely what this gives. I do really love the different colors in here. I love the different shifty shades. I have made some beautiful looks with this. I'm struggling on where to put. But I do feel like this deserves to be in the top 10, which is really all that matters. This next palette is my Nomad America's Parks palette. I do prefer this size of palette over their slightly bigger ones. These are also slightly cheaper as well. This palette, I have done so many lovely looks with this. And like I said, I do really like warmer tones. And then you have like a warm red, you have a yellow, some nice warm greens. You have a little bit of coolness to kind of ground it. But I have, hi kitty. I have made some beautiful, beautiful looks with this. Some that have been some of my all-time favorites. If you want to jump up? No? Okay. There is a lot of these like copper shades and they're not my favorite, but literally everything else is so pretty. So this one has to be in the top 10, and it is the reason why I know Nomad is a thing. I love this palette and it is one of my favorites. We have the Gloss Gods Vintage Glam Remix. This one was actually in a wishlist video, and someone over on Instagram, bless her freaking heart, she told me, she's like, I have this. She's like, you would use this much more than I ever would. So I got this from someone on Instagram, and I'm so beyond thankful. This one is higher than all those other ones before it because this has my color story in it to a T. The pinks, the purples, and these like cooler neutrals. And this palette is not magnetic, or you can't take the pans out, because I've almost like completely trashed the shade, unfortunately. This one just sings something pretty in my soul, and I'm so excited and happy that I have this. I definitely need to use it more often. This is a beautiful palette, and you know who you are. If you're watching this, I love you so much and appreciate you so much. And this is such a great palette. I've never tried Gloss Gods either, and their formula is just really good. Okay, we have my top 5, and honestly, also struggle bus. Top 5 palette. We have Cosmic Brushes Neutrals. This has been a palette I've been lusting after for as long as it came out, and I got it off of Mercari, and I am so glad that I did. The only reason why it's not higher is because there are some darker shades in here, like darker shimmers, but these mattes, the variety of mattes, so pretty. You can literally do almost anything with this. I made a really pretty pinky purple look. You have some really warm orangey terracotta shades. You have some greens, and then you have a nice selection of like neutral browns. You can take this in many different ways and different avenues and run with it. I think this is a very, very universal neutral palette. They did something extremely right with this, and I am super glad that I have it now. And I am super glad that it's in my collection. I have made so many looks. A lot of you guys love these looks that I have made with this palette. And it's just one of those ones that are like, it is a home run to me. This one was a surprise to me. I love Sydney Grace. I do. I love them with my entire heart. And this here is the Blessed palette. I got this because it has touched my interest a time or two. I found this for a really good price on Mercari, so I picked it up. I have never made a more perfect all neutral eye, and I had issues with the Nomad Fairy Tale Europe palette because of it being neutral mattes, colorful shimmers. This one is the same way. It's neutral mattes, colorful shimmers, but I feel like this is done correctly. The mattes have different varieties to them where you could really take it and run with these shimmers. Like you have a little bit more of a pinky matte, you have more of an orangey, neutral brown, you have a cooler toned neutral brown, like a more of a gray color. You do have a matte black, you do have a darker matte brown, you have a perfect like blending out shade. Then you have this like satiny white color, which is really, really unique in a palette. Like it's not matte, but it's just, you know, catches the light ever so slightly. These shimmers here are gorgeous. They are a light to medium shimmer, which is what I prefer. You also have some color in here. So you have some blue, purple, green, a pink color. This palette, I have made some beautiful looks with, and I have never disliked a look that I've done with this palette. And there are so many different fun avenues you can go down. Neutral, you can go colorful. You have a silver in here. It's just, there's a lot of good things in this palette. Formula is top notch because it is Sydney Grace, and it is number 4 for a reason. Number 3 has to go to Unearthly Sorceress Smoke. Again, this was on my palettes my wish list video or videos. There's multiple of them. I've never tried Unearthly before this year. And this one, out of the park, honestly, for me. This here is the color story of this palette. This past year, I've been getting very into neutrals. You could probably tell by some of these most recent palettes, and some of these neutrals, like I like a spicy neutral. This one, you have it, and it's very similar to the last palette. I feel like it's pretty similar to the neutrals palette in terms of different types of neutrals in here. Like you have greens, you have a pinkier one, you have a little bit more orange, you have a matte brown, you have matte black. All of these shimmers are gorgeous. I have loved these looks. Let me tell you, I have never seen such perfect tones of green in a palette. And the green look that I have made with this has been beautiful. One of my favorite green looks I've made all year. This palette, very much thankful that I have this. Thank you to the person who gifted it to me as a declutter from her collection. This one, definitely in my top 3. And it is one of those palettes that like I could use for an entire week and not really feel all that bothered by it. The top 2, I knew what needed to be in the top like 5. That was easy. I knew what needed to be in the top 3, and then I knew what needed to be in the top 2. Now, to try and figure out which spot to put these in, one of them I've had in my collection for much longer. One of them has been very, very new to me. I look at both of them and I can create many different looks with it. And it's going to be similar to last year where I couldn't really put it in a spot of my favorite versus, you know, second favorite. So I'm going to just talk to you about them at the same time. So we have Nomad Pacific Northwest and we have Bella Tabor Secret Garden. Both of these have been top tier palettes for me, and I love these so incredibly much. I do have a code with Bella Tabor. It is a 10% off code. I do make a small commission, and if you decide to use my code, I am eternally grateful for you. And this is my one and only Bella Tabor palette, but I do want to make a purchase for my birthday, and damn right I will be using my own code. And Nomad, I do have a code with them, or I still should have both of the codes. I should still have both of my codes, but my Nomad code is 10% off. It does not make a commission, but it does tell Nomad that you are finding palettes or getting recommended palettes from me. So Nomad palette. We'll go here first because it is newer of the two. So part of me wants to put it in second place only because of the newness to me from my collection. this is the palette and what it looks like. Based off of what I have shown you guys, I'm like, this lady likes blue and green a lot and not really pink eyeshadow. I love pink eyeshadow. This palette does so many different parameters. Like, you have the blues, you have the greens, you have some of these like neutral tones. This is a purple and it is gorgeous. And then you have a really light color, some beautiful shades. This yellow shade here, stunning. This shade here is also stunning. Like, there are so many stunning shades in here, and I have loved every single look I've made with this palette, and I definitely need to be using this a lot more often. As much as they come out with palettes, I feel like it truly is a 50-50 shot if it's going to be a really good palette or not. This palette was really good, and that Witch City Salem palette was very, very good. I have a lot of favorites from Nomad, I do. This one really knocked it out of the park. And then this last and final palette, the Bella Beauté Bar Secret Garden, I don't think was really a surprise to you all. This is one of my most used palettes this year, which I will be doing an entire ranking, my entire eyeshadow palette collection based off of usage. It's just that I need energy for that. But this palette is absolutely stunning. The Secret Garden palette has everything that you will need. You have neutral, well, anything I would need. Neutrals, pinks, greens. I really should bring this out again. I haven't used it in a little bit just because of other stuff that I've gotten in my collection. The tones of greens in here are really, really nice. The tones of greeny blue colors are really, really nice. You have more of a warmer pink, a cooler pink. You have different tones. These neutrals makes a stunning neutral eye look. I am truly amazed by this palette, and I wish they would make more palettes in this specific size. I have been wanting a lot more Bella Beauté Bar palettes. They're just pricey, and like, it has to be kind of a special occasion for me to justify purchasing a palette of theirs because of how pricey they are. And this one, I'm very glad was my first palette. I get to see a range of shades, a range of different formulas. And a lot of you guys have seen how much I have loved this palette throughout the year. I did do a 3 looks, 4 looks, 1 palette with this that I really did love all of the looks that I have done with that palette. And unfortunately, that means all of my palettes here are done. I tell you, these top 10 palettes, top 15 palettes, like, I love them dearly. This entire video was extremely difficult for me to make, and as you guys saw throughout the way, I have second guessed where I put some of my palettes. And this is all in just for good fun. If my bottom palette is your top palette, good for you. And if your bottom palette is my top palette, then good for me. Everyone has different preferences. Everyone has different tastes and everything. So let me know down below, what's your top 3 palettes of 2025, of palettes that you have received or, you know, you have bought, that you've tried out in 2025. I love and appreciate all of you guys for being here till the end. This has been a very long video, and I'm very thankful for all of you guys who are here till the end. I want you to put down a emoji. I will figure it out. If you're here this long, put this emoji in the comments somewhere. I love and appreciate all of you guys for being here, sticking around to the end. If you guys enjoy eyeshadow palette content, makeup content, anything along those lines, project panning and stuff like that, this channel is for you. I post 2 to 3 videos a week, and I would love for you to subscribe. Also, like this video if you enjoyed. Hype it up for more people to find this channel and this video. Like I said, comment down below that fun emoji and your top 3 palettes that you have gotten this year. I love and appreciate you guys so much, and I shall see you guys, and Jasper will see you guys next time.